Yeah, what's up, people? It's Pasta Boss, and this is a great day because this is the first video I'm gonna do for Magic the Gathering. Let's get at it. So let's get down to our bare minimum, what we're gonna need for our deck. So what we're gonna need first is we're gonna need our lands. So first thing we're gonna need is we're gonna need 9 islands. It doesn't matter what they look like, just make sure it's 9 islands. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go. It doesn't matter what they look like, guys, make sure you have 9 islands. The next thing we're gonna need, guys, is our Eder base mana for our mill deck, and that would be our swamps. So we need 9 swamps. Doesn't matter what they look like, guys, make sure you have 9 swamps. Alright guys, for our gates we're going to need 4 watery graves, but as you can see I don't have 4 watery graves, I only have 1. I'm in the process of getting the other 3, but for now I put in the Dimir guild gates as placeholders for the watery graves. So those are our gates, 4 watery graves. For our other gates, guys, we have our Drowned Catacombs. Make sure you have 4 of these. These are very essential to your deck. Drowned Catacomb enters the battlefield tapped unless you can control an island or a swamp. Make sure you have 4 of these. And first up, for our instants and sorceries, you want to have Discovery Dispersal. This is a very good card to find what you need, basically, to drill your opponent into the ground, or to mill him into the ground. As you can see, that's what I did there. 4 Discovery Dispersals. Next up, you want your 2 Vraska Contempts. These are really good to deal with your planeswalkers and creatures that opponents summon. This saved my life from a Vraska planeswalker yesterday, or actually 2 days ago. It was really nice to get rid of that, so make sure you have 2 of these. And then you have your Tyrant Scorns. These are really good to get rid of low mana cost creatures. These are essential for this deck because this deck is all about reversals and counters, so make sure you have 3 of these. And for your next sorcery / instance, you have your Thought Erasers. You want 3 of these. These are going to be very useful to use to see what your opponent is using against you. They're very, very good to find your next card also in your library according to that surveil right there. So make sure you have 3 of these. Alright guys, so the next one's going to be Cast Down. So this is really easily to get rid of your target's creatures. Again, this is a small mana cost to get rid of your target's creatures. Basically this is definitely essential to this deck. So you want 2 of these. And then you want your Thought Collapses. Your Thought Collapses are used to counter your target spell. And then, in turn, they will put the top 3 cards in their graveyard. So if you're trying to self-mill yourself, which I wouldn't advise, but it does happen sometimes, let's face it. So you want your 3 Thought Collapse for either self-mill or for opponent mill. Next up, guys, this is going to be used to pick up other spells that you've used. The Bond of Insights. You want 4 of these, because this is used to get your instant / sorceries back from the graveyard, as you can see right here. Bond of Insight, yep, there you go. So make sure you have 4 of these. Final one for sorceries / instants. You're going to need your Enter the God Eternals. Make sure you have those. These are definitely essential as well. These will be something that you'll pick up later. So definitely make sure you have 3 of these. You'll be using 2 Eldest Reborns. So the Eldest Reborn, a Saga card. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful card when you have a Planeswalker you're dealing with, or even a creature you're dealing with. Make sure that you use this in endgame because, as you can tell, step 3, you can put target creature or Planeswalker from your graveyard, or a graveyard for that matter, onto the battlefield under your control. So make sure you have 2 of these. This is very essential to this deck. You want Drowned Secrets. Every time you play a blue spell, the target player will put 2 top cards of their library into their graveyard. So make sure you have at least 1 of these. Or you can put 2, 3, yeah, you can put 4, doesn't matter. but make sure you at least have one. Drowned Secrets. Make sure you have 3 Wall of Lost Thoughts. This is used to put your opponent's cards into their graveyard for a self-mill, an easy self-mill. So make sure you put this in your deck. And moving on with the next creatures you will use, guys. You will be using your Jace's Projection. This is used to put loyalty counters on your Jace. Later on I will show you that you will be using Jace for this deck, so make sure that you have 2 Jace's projections. Last up, guys, make sure you have your Flyer. Make sure you have your Thief of Sanity. That's right, guys, the Thief of Sanity. This card is an amazing card. This is used to steal your opponent's minds, if you will. So basically, when this attacks your opponent directly, your opponent will show you the top 3 cards of its library, and you will use those cards as using it for any mana towards your gain. This is a must needed for this deck. It's time for everyone's favorite part, our Planeswalkers. So you want 1 Jace, Arcane Strategist. This allows you to put a 1/1 counter on target creature whenever you draw your second card. So as you can see, his +1 loyalty lets you draw a card. And his -7 as well is very useful. Creatures that you control can't be blocked this turn. Very, very useful card, so make sure you have 1 Jace, Arcane Strategist. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. This is a very, very good card to mill your opponent and to mill yourself as well. So, if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it while this Planeswalker is out, you win the game instead. So, as you can see, his -8. Once he gets up to -8 and you use that -8, it's going to make this card very, very valuable towards either your gain or your loss. But even if you do lose all your cards, you win the game if this guy's on the battlefield. So make sure you have 1 of these. And it's time for my favorite Planeswalker, Ashiok, Dream Render. This is used to mill your opponent and to exile his cards also in the graveyard. So make sure you have at least 4 of these. This card is amazing, guys. I based this whole deck around this card, so this is the Planeswalker you want to have. An amazing Planeswalker, so make sure you have 4 of these. On top of that, before I forget, spells and abilities your opponent controls that causes their controller to search their library. This card, while it's on the battlefield, they can't do it. So make sure that your opponent realizes that. This is a very good card to have. Another one of my favorite Planeswalkers, and also going to round up this deck making, Liliana, Dreadhorde General. Whenever a creature that I control dies, draw a card. Her +1 create a 2/2 black zombie creature. Her -4, I get to destroy 2 creatures that the opponent has and also 2 creatures that I have, which allows me to draw 2 cards. And then her final, each opponent chooses a permanent that they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. Well, that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Pasta Boss, out.